Good day. Welcome to rweComics. I am continuing the rweComics Reloaded where we left off. That was the new adjusted description of my work. And I believe we left off with one of our main characters kind of breaking ties with the antagonist, one of our main antagonists in the rweComics universe. I start the rweComics as just a generalization of my love for comics and my act getting into the comic field. But I am probably going to start naming these teams. I am in the current part of my story to where my team has basically been introduced. So now, getting you guys familiar with these individuals and their characteristics and how they came to be as a team, and their strengths, their weaknesses, their certain likes and dislikes is where I am today. And many of you may know my situation. Just to get off topic, I am dealing with what I would call a housing situation. I've been hotel hopping basically for about 2 months now. I've been living in different hotels, even in two separate states so far. As one housing option came available in Colorado. I've actually moved from San Francisco to Colorado to pursue that arrangement, and come to find out it was a totally false advertisement, so to speak, for the leasing agent. When I was living in Colorado, I stayed at this property called the Forum Apartments in downtown Denver. Beautiful, ideal location. The management at that particular property just let the property go to where there were insects everywhere. The insects basically had taken over the property, and you would have to approve everything with the insects there. And you may see on some of my early YouTube posts how I was just saying that the disrespect of being in that type of environment it was real, but totally unacceptable. So I'm no longer living with roaches. Thank God. Thank God. So, and in this case, housing should be made available. But in the meantime, the show must go on. My love for my art is basically what has brought about the rweComics and the rweWear. As you can see, my rweWear brand, everything's nice and still alive over at the store. But just to get back into the field of comics, I need to find my beast mode despite all these distractions. So I'm going to read the RWE Reloaded comics introduction here. When I got back into this is when I had reintroduced the line, changing characters. There's a noise in the background. I guess I need to go jiggle the handle on that down plumbing feature in there, but I'm not equipped to go in there and deal with all that madness. So bear with me. My love for comics goes back to, I want to say, the late 90s. Yes, I'm telling you how old I am. I am an eternal, so I can do that. And many of you may know that a lot of the comic-based films are coming out. One in particular is Doctor Strange and the multi-madness universe or something along those lines. Now, Dr. Stephen Strange had entrusted me with something very important, okay? But with this new film coming out, we don't know if that's our Doctor Strange or another Doctor Strange for another multi-universe. So when the film come out, of course I'm going to go see it. I want to go see Batman tonight, but I wasn't too big on the crowded theater, so whatever. I came back to my room to get started on my own work. But I am giving away the Eye of Agamotto to one fan. Don't tell Dr. Stephen Strange. We don't know if we can trust him or not. So, just to add that. So, look for the new Doctor Strange film in theaters. I cannot wait to go see it. I've had that particular piece for quite some time now. So, it's when you've been in the business as long as me, sometimes you got to pass along certain nuggets of treasures that when you get a hold of them. It had been 2 months since Eric Knight had ran into Hiram Garcia. Now part of a small team, literally the two crashed into each other as Eric walked to school and Hiram was evading the forces of the rip-skinned figures belonging to the Methena. Sergeant Wells of the Mark City Police Department had been their most knowledgeable member, reminding them to stay ready. And by now, even Uncle Aaron was a key member, bringing the number of five to go up against whatever forces was arriving to apprehend Haram. At least that was what the word on the grid was, and at this point, Haram had developed a strange mental perspective of his own life, being at the center of everyone's attention. Tonight, like most recent ones, Eric and Haram were sharing bits and pieces of their adventures and events before they had met. It was almost exciting and expected, or even ZOS, the floating technology that was the source of Haram's support during all that time on the run. In hiding from the danger, he helped his friend to share those moments with motion beeps and whistles. So I ran into the clearing, not even sure if ZOS could keep up as I dove myself into the liquid core of that planet's version of what is called water. And sure enough, ZOS was a great distance ahead of me, projecting a light for me to see. As I propelled forward, making my way across the liquid, I was so focused on getting away from the ledge on the land that neither myself nor Z was able to see the giant liquid creatures that was lurking underneath and about. Next, the robot flashed a projection from its memory core of the liquid sea creatures that Haram was describing. In the intense moment of concentration, the hair on the back of Eric's arms stood up on end, casting off a unique contrast to the auburn-colored hair on his head, and with ZOS's illustration, Eric's eyes captured the shine of the blues and reds against his natural colored blue eyes, which tend to take on a milky white whenever he is in action. One of the following nights, while the three of them were down for the evening, they were not expecting their routine to change, but when Aaron Jr. came home to sleep over with his father, it was ZOS who brought the night's story to an abrupt end as it zipped past Eric to contract and then suspend itself with Haram, giving the team the heads up of any possible danger that may be approaching. If I want to, I guess, interrupt real fast. So, I'd like to try and, excuse me, create characters and stories. For the most part, I get the feel of doing just that, to where you can just pick up and follow along. So it is with great effort that I try to freestyle and be able to pick up where I left off without basically missing a beat. Or if I say I would lose this particular part of my story. Not in today's society where you have all the flash drives and JPEGs and stuff where you could upload your material. There should be no reason for losing anything. But in this case, say if I did, the light outages, whatever. If I can remember mentally, the comings and goings of these characters and should be able to get to the point where I could just, off the tip of my brain, introduce these characters and put them into context for people to follow on or go along with. In this case, Haram, who had only one support system from wherever adventures that he was involved in before, running into his friend Eric. In this case, they were just, relaxing one night and sharing stories, and then here comes Eric's cousin, Aaron, who come and, for a sleepover and kind of ended everyone's night of adventure telling. So let's keep that going. Aaron Jr. came home to sleep over, and ZOS brought that night of storytelling to an end. Next, Eric rose from his position on the gaming chair that was used for video games by Aaron Jr., who rushed into his old bedroom, only to find that it was no longer his anymore. "What are you doing in my room, dick brain?" Aaron Jr. asked his cousin Eric, who had just rushed over to his cousin, who was Eric. Eric, as we know, who is taking on the name of Momentum, has this ability to just he's very very strong. We covered that in previous stories. He's very strong, and so he's trying to control his powers. He doesn't want to, um, just totally lose control of his power and then kill his cousin by accidentally crushing him. Or while his cousin's playing around with him, his cousin don't know about his gift, so. He came very close to his cousin, and Eric had to instantly control his body to prevent his body's momentum from just splattering his cousin's body into a mound of mush. As the kid came uncomfortably close to Eric, just to irritate him. Aaron, you know your dad gave me this room because you're staying over with your mother's place, Eric reminded Aaron. Outside of the team, no one knew of Eric's abilities. And for the first time being, everyone's planned to keep it that way. Don't be rude. We have a guest staying with us, so don't make me get your dad on you, responded Eric. Yeah, not until my mom is done with him. He was supposed to come and pick me up from the airport, but he didn't. And with that revelation, everyone got a sense of shock, realizing that the usually organized, grumpy Uncle Aaron had slipped up with communication with something important. And of all the people most concerned, it was Eric. As a matter of fact, while the three of them were at the old rail yard, um, Eric asked his uncle if he had heard from Aaron Jr., and it was as if his uncle had heard a name of a person that he had never heard of. I'm sure it was a simple mistake, Haram chimed in. Too, he too had heard Eric asking about his cousin earlier while they were in the middle of showing Eric some high-flying maneuvers. VHSs in the air. Oh yeah, man, sorry for my bad manners, Haram. This is my cousin Aaron Jr., Haram. Aaron, this is my friend Haram. Eric introduced the two boys. What's up? Aaron greeted the other, and Haram rose from the workstation that was set up in a brand new state-of-the-art computer system and new monitors. Whoa, you guys did all of this cool equipment from, we're renting it. From the office store came a voice belonging to the man of the house, Aaron Knight. As he entered the room, his son went up to meet him and with a bear hug, and his dad responded with a bear hug in return. That ended shortly. You're getting too big for me to be picking you up, AJ. Ah, I'm not that big, Aaron Jr. tried to convince his father as he was rubbing his shoulders, probably soothing the old wound from combat as a former Marine. Did Eric tell you of the arrangements made with the rooms? Since you live with your mother now, our guest, Haram, is using Eric's room. So that means you and Eric have to share your old room. Let's give Mr. Garcia some space, Uncle Aaron said, ushering everyone out of the crowded room and leaving Haram and the quiet ZOS alone to have some space. Not sure if he preferred the door open or closed, the older knight left the bedroom door slightly ajar open so as to not make it seem like he was a prisoner. Not that there were any prisons that could hold Haram, at least none on Earth. And so again, for the 100th time, Aaron Knight wondered if they were making the right decision. I'm going to stop right there because what the decision that Aaron is wondering is like they met this kid, as you know, Eric Knight and Aaron and Haram met each other, and he came over as a guest. He's sleeping, in their room, and they're taking on the responsibility of playing host and guest to this stranger, Haram. And come to find out, this dude also possesses, unique gifts, and so does Eric. So they teamed up, and now they're friends, and they made the decision to help him. He's got some people following him. He was running from people when they first met, and so they've taken up on the role of helping out this kid. And in return, this kid is helping Eric learn how to use his abilities and flying and being this entity known as momentum and how to use his gifts and powers. And so it's an all-around agreement where everyone wins. Okay, so I'm going to begin sharing more of this story with you guys on YouTube, as well as doing the RWE Comics stories again on Spotify. So when you're not able to watch the videos or whatever, you can actually listen in on to some of your favorite podcasts. And RW Comics is definitely continuing our storytelling on RWE Comics on Spotify. Again, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to what I have to share about my super action hero characters, which I'm about to start making official names for these teams and branching them off in different books and separating them from this introduction stories and creating them with their own titles and group names, which is going to be really, really fun. So stay tuned. Thank you for your time. Until next time, take care.